All right, so now we're starting inside the engine compartment, taking it off the air cleaner box. You want to get that completely out of the way, so that way we can start getting everything out for to get the engine mounts. We'll take the air cleaner out, we'll take the water rail off, and then we'll start trying to get to the exhaust output also. You want to also get your this piece out, which is your muffler, and it has basically band clamps down there at the bottom. So real simple stuff, you just got to kind of do it in order. So we'll film it as we go, but right now what we're doing is we're going to take off the air cleaner, the water jacket rail, and thermostat. Get ready to start inspecting some jugs. Okay, right now what we're ready to do is basically start pulling stuff out so that way we can get ready to pull the engine out. So let me show you what I've done so far. We took the, basically this is the spark arrestor box. It has 10 millimeter bolts on it. I took the water rail off, which has 10 millimeter bolts also. And then I just cut the fuel lines. Now if you notice, this is the old style Polaris. Now a lot of people don't know about this, is that this is supposed to be changed out to a triple fuel pump. This is a single output, and it causes the front cylinder to get lean over time, and it basically burns it up. So I just cut these fuel lines because we're just getting them out. And then also there will be oil injection lines up here from the oil injection pump. I just snipped those with my snippers also to get it out. If you're trying to save it, you would actually take the little clamps off and do it that way. So now what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get our muffler out of here, which is going to actually be pretty easy. And it's full of water. The whole engine is going to be full of water. That is great. Wow. Okay. See, this thing has probably, if you look down in here, it's got probably 3-4 gallons of water in here. This is crazy. All right, we're going to go open the garage door and let the water out of this thing. Now we've loosened up the exhaust pipe, and this thing is full of water, which means we've kind of come to the conclusion that this jet ski probably was sunk at one point in time. So there's 4 19 millimeter bolts and 2 13 millimeter bolts at the very bottom, and then you basically push it out through the front. And there's actually another hose down there we need to cut. It's this one, right? Cut this one. This guy. Oh. And then gnaw through that bottom one. Yep. Oh, here's what the problem is. It's catching.
Ah, I see what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here, I'm gonna try to cut this back over here.
Right there is catching.
What it is there's a piece that's on the exhaust pipe and it's catching on the motor mount. So we're gonna just sever it. Finally got a little piece cut, and that allows you to come out this way. As you well know, is that you have to take out the gas tank first to be able to get this out. You might be able to do it without doing that, but it makes it easier to get this guy all the way out. Let's see if there's any water in here. Ice was in there, so that shows you this thing froze last night, and it probably split it. So this is going to go to the aluminum junk pile. On to the next thing. We are to the point of taking the motor mounts off. And you can see them down here. There's 4 bolts. There's one here, one on the back side underneath the carburetors, one in the front of the engine, and one on the other side. These are 19 millimeter. You need to take all of them out, and then what that'll allow you to do is be able to just lift the engine out. And if you're a hoss like me, you lift it out with your bare hands. Or what we can do is get our half-ton hoist and hook it up there and lift it out. So we'll just kind of see how I'm feeling whenever we get these bolts out. The hard part is getting it out because the exhaust and the carburetors are so close. A lot of times you do have to take the exhaust out first, but it's been a while since I've disassembled this, at least 6 months. So we'll see what it does when we get these out. So anyway, we're going to taking off these 19 millimeters, which are on with Gorilla Glue. We'll see you here in a minute. Okay, so I'm gonna try to do this the old-fashioned way by just yanking it out myself. All of them are loose. I have them pulled up to where they need to be. What I'm gonna try to do is I'm gonna pull up and set it to the side. Here we go. All right, that was try one. There's something stopping me here. Oh, I see. All right, cut. I'll be back in a minute. What it was is the throttle and the choke cables. You need to disconnect them from the throttle body itself. And it's pretty self-explanatory where it is. It's in the front of each one of the throttles. And then the choke the same way. It's just two little, I think, 7/16 inch nuts. Slide off, super easy. So here we go again. Just like that.
Voila.
It is out. So now while it's out, you need to take off the positive side of the battery, which is attached to the starter. Otherwise, you're going to yank everything loose when you try to move it. You need to make sure, double check that all of your connections are loose. Otherwise, you're going to be in big trouble. Like our oil line fitting, which is here, that goes up to the oil tank. Other than that, we're pretty much good to go. And then you start stripping down the engine. So, see you in a bit. This is why you never take a seller's word for what it is. Look at the inside of this thing. It's nothing but pure corrosion. Which means that this confirms that this thing is probably, look at this, there's mud in here. This thing probably was underwater at one point in time. So, you know, we're not gonna make as much money off of this. The CDI may be savable, but I'm not going to sell it as a working unit. I'm going to sell it as an as-is unit. But there is just the nastiness in here. So it's not savable at all. We're just going to cut the wires, save what other stuff we can out of this thing, and we're pretty much done. Now we got to take the engine apart, and I guarantee you, judging from all this, that engine's going to be in bad shape. There is one empty shell of a jet ski. We're fixing to roll it down my driveway and put it back on the what you call it, trailer, and we'll actually start taking apart this engine next to see how bad it is. So that's how quick you can do it. Took us about 2.5 to 3 hours. Not a bad deal. Plus you see how easy it is. Now we get to mess with that, and I bet you it's full of water.